Welcome everybody to Agent Mastermind 2014. This is Scott Hudspeth, your host, and we have an amazing class. It's kind of a takeoff from last year, believe it or not, I can say last year, where Carl White was on the call with us, and he shared how to market to your database. And I tell you, some amazing results coming in over the holidays with just engaging and interacting with your database on a regular basis. It's amazing to see what actually happens. So without further ado, Carl White is on the call with us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, brother. So, Scotty, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm broadcasting out of Palm Harbor, Florida, just outside of Tampa Bay. And we're not going to be setting New Year's resolutions here. We're going to be setting up a plan of action to take. And so we're going to give you very specific action items that you'll see a drastic difference in your real estate business literally in the next 30 days. Okay. So let's just jump right into this.
Sounds good.
What we're going to talk about today is how to get more referrals and closing by a really cool little secret phone technique. Because, you know, Scotty, we all know that the money is by making phone calls, right? We know that.
No question. No question.
Making phone calls, whether we're calling FSBOs, expired listings, our current database, the money's on the phone calls because how do we get appointments? We get appointments by making phone calls, and we all know that. So there's this real clever little thing that we stumbled upon, and it's called Phone Burner. And so we're going to go over Phone Burner, and we're going to go over some scripts for you to use with Phone Burner as real estate agents. And again, we just want to reemphasize that myself nor Scotty have any interest in any products or services that we.
Welcome to GoToWebinar, Webinars Made Easy.
Turn you on to that backhoe. So we have no interest in any of the products or anything that we ever talk about on here. It's strictly, we're just showing you some of the tools that we use, and there's no affiliate links or anything like that. Anyway, so we talked about in our last class, we talked about that that we're in our marketing to our database business. And by the way, if you need a copy of our last class, be sure to contact the loan professional that sent you here. You're going to want to listen to the last class. It's just a high money-making activity phone call or class that we did. So we talked about that we're in a marketing to our database business, not the real estate business. And we talked about the three things to do to market to your database. We talked about that you need to call your database 3 times a year. We talked about some of the scripts on that. So again, your loan professional can send you a recording of that class. We talked about how to email out to your database once per week. We showed the charts where emailing once per week actually had the least amount of opt-outs than even if you send once per month. Once per month had the highest amount of opt-outs. We talked about snail mailing to your database, right, and what to snail mail. And just for a quick reminder on the email, we talked about, you know, don't send to real estate info all the time. It's kind of boring sometimes. We talked about how do you email to your database video marketing and what's happening in your area. We talked about on the video marketing that all you need is a smartphone and YouTube and no editing. We talked about what the short call to action at the very end should be to get more real estate deals from emailing your database. And again, on the snail mails, we talked about the 12 mailers that we recommend that you send out to your database each and every month. You know, a mailer every month, and we gave the schedule here. We gave examples of this. And again, your favorite loan professional sent you here has a copy of that class. You're definitely going to want to go watch that. But what we're going to talk about. So what we're going to talk about today is the phone call part of it. And first of all, just a little housekeeping real quick. Myself or Scotty or nobody else on the call, we're not attorneys. We got a little thing here. We shot them all. But so you know, anything we talk about, you're always going to run through your compliance officer, you know, to make sure that everything that we talk about, you know, you're allowed to do in your state. And if there's certain things that you have to say or licenses that you have to throw in or something like that, obviously we advocate following all the laws so that you stay in business. All right. So, Scotty, you know, a big part of making phone calls, I mean, we all know that we need to be working the phone more. But a big part of it is, 70% of the time that people spend making phone calls is kind of wasted time, because they're hitting answering machines, busy signals, voicemail, disconnected numbers, and then when they leave a voicemail, they're leaving the same one, 30 times, and it sounds kind of drab when you're leaving. It's hard to sound energetic, when you've been on the phone all day saying the exact same thing to 100 different voicemails. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one of the things, Carl, that I find talking to a lot of people like we do is the thrill of the chase. I don't know what it is about, and this is maybe backing up from the last class, just kind of refresher. We're always looking for a new lead or a new deal or like a new prospect, a new buyer, seller, whatever. What we don't realize is we spend more time trying to get those new buyers and sellers, and if we just did what we did in the last class and what we're going to show you right now, you would have an influx of those. Because if the people that you've worked with already know, like, and trust you, if you just had, and we're going to give you some scripts, and I think that's what it is, like, what do I say? How much is too much? How much is not enough? I mean, all that stuff. So we're going to cover that coming up. But this is one of the tool we're showing you is so amazing, and not only is it amazing, it's somebody else can be doing it for you. And I've seen a couple questions coming in about, well, what if they answer the phone? So I just want to let you know we're going to cover all that stuff here. But if you can remove yourself from, like, just kind of have an open mind as we're going through this, and know that everybody on this call has a database of people that know, like, and trust them. And if you use what we're showing you right here, I can tell you that they will send their friends, family, and coworkers to you just by staying in touch with them, and we all know that. So just kind of have an open mind when you're listening to this.
Yeah, and this, I mean, really, this strategy goes back to one of those, if you're stuck on a desert island somewhere and could only take one tool with you, and you wanted to rebuild your real estate business, this would certainly be on my list. So, all right.
Question.
So what this device lets you do is it keeps you from wasting time with the answering machines. It'll give you increased contact rates. It'll help you be more productive. And the biggest thing that I have found, because I use this myself in my business, is it helps keep me feel refreshed and focused. So if I'm working through my phone list of past database, I can, this little tool makes it so I don't feel so beat up at the end of the day. So let's do a real quick overview about what this thing is and how it works here. Next slide. So an overview of how it works. So basically, what this thing does is it's a service that you call this service, and you upload your list of phone numbers you're going to be calling onto this service. And then you log on to the website and you say, okay, start making the phone calls. And it calls the first number. And if somebody picks up live, you just simply talk on your telephone, because when you go onto the website, it'll give you a phone number to call into. So when you're on this website, you're seeing things that you can click on, and you're on your telephone, because when you log in, it'll give you a number to call in so that you're live. And what it does is it dials all the phone numbers for you, so you don't get any missed dials, because the computer is the one that's calling the phone numbers. And when somebody answers, you just talk on your phone, and you're talking to them direct. If you hit a voicemail, which you're going to 70% of the time, 70% of the time, it was what our studies show us, 70% of the time that you call somebody, you're going to hit their voicemail. And what this thing lets you do is you record the message that you're going to leave if you're calling all your past database. Again, we're going to give you some examples here in a minute. You record that message one time on the website. And the advantage of recording it one time is you sound energized, enthusiastic, because you're only doing it one time. And then when you start calling your database, if you get a live person, again, you're speaking live to them. If you get a recording, you just push a button on your computer, and it dumps that pre-recorded message to that phone call. And while it's dumping that pre-recorded message that you made to that voicemail, it's calling the next number. So like if you've got a 1-minute message you're leaving, while it's leaving that 1-minute message, it's dialing you the next number for you to talk to live. So if you call 3 numbers back to back, and let's say the first 2 hit voicemail, it's very likely that it's leaving a voicemail on call 1 and call 2 while you're actually speaking with call number 3. So you can make phone calls a whole lot faster. So that's just a real quick general overview. So now let's talk about the specifics of how it works and what scripts that we recommend that you do. So first of all, this thing is 100% cloud-based. So there's nothing to install on your computer. You just use the computer and the phone that you already own, and you can dial from any location whatsoever. And how it works is you load up your leads, like I talked about, and you can import a list of contacts that you already have. And by the way, it has a built-in contact manager that allows you to sort and search through your database in different ways too, like by zip code or by that's probably going to be the most beneficial for most people. Is it'll sort through it by zip code. Now, Scotty, I know some people are saying, well, wait a minute, I really don't have a list to be calling. I've just got into the business, and I really don't have a list to be calling.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you, everybody's got a list that they'll be calling.
Everybody's got a list. And I guess the way I look at that is if you were to get married, if you were to, I hate to use this, but I think Zig Ziglar used it one time. If you were to go to a funeral, how many people would be at your funeral? About 250 people is what they say. Those are your sphere of influence. Like I would make a list of everybody you've ever talked to, everybody you've ever witnessed. I mean, and continually add people to that. I mean, I'm telling you, everybody has a list. You are 100% correct, Carl.
Yeah, and so church, friends and family, again, like you said, Scotty, is right on the numbers. Somewhere between 250 and 300 people, everybody should have in their database. Just the people who know they're, as everybody calls in the business, your sphere of influence. And I know that's not breaking news to anybody, but I'm going to tell you it's the most underutilized, low-hanging fruit ever. So I just interviewed a top agent out of North Carolina a couple days ago, and she said her primary thing that she does, is nothing but build a sphere of influence and market to that sphere of influence. And that's it. Everybody thinks, what's the magic bullet, what's the magic pill? It's the sphere of influence in contacting them on a regular basis, and that's what we're going to be talking about here, is the best way to contact them is by phone. So you upload your list of leads up on your website. And by the way, nobody's got access to it, and nobody's going to be calling your list or anything like that. And keep in mind, your list is nothing but a phone book. So somebody could literally go buy the phone book, and your list is in that phone book, and they start calling on them. So I would get a kick out of people saying, wow, that's my list, I don't want to upload it. Well, the phone book, your list is in the phone book too. So it's not that somebody has the phone numbers, it's the relationship you have with those people that makes it so powerful. And this is also going to help you build that relationship with them. So once you upload your list onto this website, the names and the phone numbers onto this website, you then call and record a voicemail in your own voice, right? And then when you catch an answering machine, which again, you're going to do at least 70% of the time, you just push a button and it'll dump that voicemail, and nobody will ever know that it was a dumped voicemail. It's absolutely impossible to tell. And the cool thing is you can have one script for calling FSBOs, and you can have another script for calling your past database. So you can have several different
expired listings.
Exactly. So as you're calling these people, depending on what list they're on, you push button 1, and it does the expired listing script. Button 2, the FSBO script. Button 3, a past client database script. So you get the idea. And so let's talk about what some of the scripts would look like. So and again, we recommend that you call 3 times per year. Call your database 3 times a year with this script right here. So I'm just going to kind of read this here just real quick. So again, this is the script that you're going to record on PhoneBurner as a one-time thing, and PhoneBurner is going to end up playing this 70% of the time that you're making your phone calls.
Hey, Carl.
So yes,
I love, this is an awesome script, but I love the start of what we've talked about before in our mastermind group, where we talked about the start of the voicemail. And somebody asked a really good question. Is like, is there a pause before the voicemail is left? And if you leave a pause when you record the message that you're actually going to leave, then yes, there'll be a pause. But I don't believe, and I haven't heard any complaints about, it sounds like a telemarketer. And it's you leaving the message. But remember the little start of the message that you did before you actually get into this?
Yes.
That was, you want to share that with them now, or do you have that later on?
I got later on.
Okay, cool, perfect.
Okay, cool. So this is, I see a question coming in from Joanne. The question is, well, how do you get people's information without spamming them? Well, and that's a great question, Joanne. Appreciate you asking that question. And the answer is, don't spam them. In other words, when you send information, send cool information. So like if you call somebody, that's not called spam, that's called a phone call, right? And especially when it's a phone call of telling people thanks and how are you doing and just checking in to see how the holidays were, that's not spam. Spam is sending out some faceless email that's like an email newsletter. Like nobody reads that crap, right? Nobody, you don't read them, I don't read them, Scotty, you don't read them, nobody reads that stuff.
No.
So why would we ever send that stuff to our database? So don't send that kind of stuff. Send cool information that's actually going to help them. So this is the voicemail that's recorded one time on phone burner and is done. So let me just go through this script real quick. And thanks again for Joanne for being here, and that's a great question. So here's the script. Hey, this is Carl from ABC Real Estate, and I helped you guys with buying or selling. So you have one script for the buyers that you help with the buyers and one script that you help for helping the sellers. So I helped you with the selling of your home in the past, and I just wanted to give you a real quick thanks for letting me help out. And hey, if you ever have any real estate or mortgage questions or would like to report on home prices in your neighborhood, just give me a buzz. By the way, I was just looking at some home values in your area, and I think you're going to be pleased with what I have to show you. So, hey, the best number to reach me at is 555-1212. Hope all's well. Hope to talk to you soon. Oh, also, if you have any friends or family members that could use some honest help, just looking to buy, sell, or refinance a house in the next 6 months, just give me a call about that too. So I'd be honored to help out, and I'll talk to you when you call back. Bye-bye. That's it. Nice, simple thing. You record it one time, and instead of having to repeat that thing 150 times a day because you're hitting voicemail, you record it once in a very chippery, early in the morning voice, right? And you're offering something of value, which is, as we look here, which would be something like, hey, if you ever have any questions, or, by the way, I was looking at some home values in your area, and I think you'll be pleased with what I have to show you, right? So
hey, Carl, really quick here. I think a couple people on the call, there's a couple questions coming in, and I'm getting the feeling like people are feeling like this is a broadcast system. Now, this is not a broadcast system, and if you're joining us late, that might be why Carl went over the overview of the system. So what the system allows you to do really quick, Carl, if you don't mind, is it allows you to record a message. It allows you to record this message that's on the screen right here. And so, like, when you push this button inside Phone Burner to make the call, and you get somebody's voicemail. What happens is you push a button, and it leaves this voicemail. If they answer the call, and then we're going to go over that in just a minute, but you would actually physically talk to them, and if it's somebody calling for you, you could use the same exact script. So we're going to go over that in just a second. But just to clarify, this is not a broadcast to record the voicemail and push it out there. This is a really cool way to record a message, and 70% of the time when you do get the voicemails, you can leave the message. Instead of saying it 700 times, you say it one time and have the machine do the work for you.
Yeah, because again, a broadcast, if they answer live, they hear the recording. That's
correct.
Way uncool. Way uncool. You never want to do that. Yeah, and dangerous. Yeah, it's very uncool. You never want to do that. But so this is a broadcast to the voicemail if it gets voicemail. But if it gets it live, you're going to talk to them live. And we got a script that it's the same script. It's just you pause. Hey, this is Carl from ABC Mortgage. I help you guys with selling your home in the past. How you guys doing? Right? And they're going to say, hey, we're this and this and this. Hey, well, real quick, Bob, I don't want to keep your time. I just want to give you a quick thanks for letting me help out. Hey, if you ever have any real estate, it's the same script. You just pause and let them talk about how they're doing just for a few seconds. A 3-minute phone call, right? By the way, when you're calling your database, these are not 20-minute phone calls. Let's be real here for a minute. They don't want to talk to you for 20 minutes. They're busy, and you don't want to talk to them. They're busy, you're busy, but they like being touched. Right? They like being touched. And if you can keep it to a short, quick little 3-minute phone call, and let's just say, well, you know, funny that you should call Carl. We were just looking at mine or whatever. Then you engage into a conversation. But if this is just real quick little phone calls, and a good friend of ours, Shara, is asking a great question. She says, hey, Carl, Scotty, if your database has gotten stale, do you have a reconnect script? This is it. This is your reconnect script. This is it. And if you're calling your database 3 times a year, it'll never get stale again. This is your reconnect script. This is it. How you guys doing? And we're going to talk about, well, isn't it kind of weird if you haven't talked to somebody in about 2 years? We're going to talk about that in just a second. Now, Scotty, the coolest part of doing this is, since this is dumping a message on voicemails, what would keep me from having somebody else calling on my behalf?
This is the best part. This is the best part.
Somebody else calling on my behalf, and this is Lauren here in my office, and that's Derek sitting there next to her, calling your database on your behalf. And when it gets a voicemail, when Lauren gets a voicemail, which again is 70% of the time, my voice is leaving the message. So 70% of the time, I called my database, and I was really out, just say, making a listing presentation. Or I was really at the Chamber of Commerce connecting up with people. Or I was really at meeting with the awesome loan officer that invited me here today, setting up a strategy session with them. Or maybe taking them out for lunch to tell them, thanks for sending me to this awesome class. Right? Or maybe on a vacation. Or doing whatever you want to do. Or maybe you're making phone calls too, but again, 70% of the time, they're going to be getting voicemail, and so it's your voice left on that message. So your database, most of the time, 3/4 of the time, you're the one that, or 2/3 of the time, you did call them, you did leave a voicemail to them. The other 30% of the time, they get a live answer. Your freedom caller, we call them a freedom call because it really frees us up, they use a script like this.
So this is if somebody's calling for you and they actually answer the phone, correct?
Yeah, so let's say Lauren's making the phone call.
Yep, Lauren's making the phone call for Carl White.
Yeah, and so if they get a voicemail, when Lauren gets a voicemail, it's my message being dumped on there in my voice. If Lauren gets a live answer, this is the message, this is the conversation that Lauren has. Say, hey, this is Lauren. Carl White from Carl's Real Estate Company wanted me to give you a call. He helped you with selling your home in the past, and he just wanted me to give you a quick call thanking you for letting him help out. How you guys doing? Same script, right? Pause for answer, and then she gives the appropriate answer. Hey, well, if you ever have any real estate or mortgage questions, Carl wanted me to tell you to please give him a buzz. If you grab a pen, I'll give you his number here real quick. The best number to reach Carl at is 555-1212. Hope all's well. Hope to talk to you soon. Oh, also, Carl wanted me to ask you if you have any friends or family members that are looking to buy, sell, or refinance a home that could use some honest help. Do you know anybody that's looking to buy, sell, a home in the next 6 months? Pause for answer. Most of the time it's no, right? When they say no, okay, well, that's cool. Hey, can we count on you to give Carl a call when you do? Pause for answer. Great. He'd be honored to help out. He'll talk to you when you call back. Bye-bye. And that's it. That's it. Again, this is only 30% of the time. The other 70% of the time, it's your voice. Mm-hmm. Now, Scotty, this always comes up. It's like, well, wait a minute. What about people that you haven't spoken to in a few years? Hey, guys, I get it. I need to be calling my database 3 times a year. I know I've been meaning to. Frankly, I didn't know what to say. Now that you showed me what to say, gosh, isn't it kind of awkward for me to be calling them after 2 years? Hey, guys, I got some breaking news for you. People don't think about you. People think about you a whole lot less than you think they do, right? And what I mean by that, and I don't mean any disrespect, of course, by this, but what I mean by that is, Scotty, if you haven't called your database in the last 2 years, they're not sitting there going, gee, Scotty, here it's been 2 years, we've been waiting by the phone every evening, and Scotty's never called us, he's never written us, he's never came by. We think about him every day, and it hurts.
That's right. That's right. Nope. Nope, they haven't thought about you. Hey, one of the other questions coming in is Sal. I appreciate the question, Sal. She says, doesn't it sound generic if I leave a message and don't use their name? Well, I guess my question was, okay, if you don't call them ever, or you call them and don't use their name, which one would be better?
Yeah, which is going to give you the best results?
Which is going to give you the best results? So that would be my question to you. So, if you want to call every single person and get 70 out of 100 voicemails and use their name, awesome. Then just put it on your calendar and make sure you do it. But if you want to do it in a timely manner so you can do something else, this would be a great way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Pick up the phone. Just do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Let me tell you something. And again, I say this with absolute 100% respect, and the great questions. We encourage the questions. But if you're looking for a reason this won't work, you're too late. It already works. We're doing it, and it's kicking. It's one of the best things I've ever done. It works like gangbusters. It's killer.
It does. Two questions really quick before you proceed too. Chuck's saying, is there a lag time if they answer? No, there's no lag. It's like you're physically calling, and also it calls from one. It actually, the caller ID shows from whatever number you put in phone burner to receive and make the calls from. That's
yeah,
cool
so
part.
it looks like I'm calling from my office phone. That's exactly
correct.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Which is really cool because I can be calling from my cell phone, like out of my home office.
Right.
But the caller ID they get is back at the office because I don't want them calling my cell phone. I want them calling the office phone, right? So that I can, or that's just the way I run my business is, I have people at the office that'll pre-screen and, so for my time blocking, which we got another class on that. But yeah, this is just do this. And I can tell you, I have called thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people using this system. Yeah. I've never once had somebody saying, "Hey, Carl, man, I knew what you were doing there." Never once.
Right.
Never
Here's
once.
a great question. Here's a great question that just fits what you just talked about as far as Lauren making the calls for you. Here's the best part about the whole system. Debbie, I appreciate the question because it's a good one. So Debbie says, does the website keep track of which ones were left a message? So that's the cool part. It actually does show you 70 message left, 30 live calls. So you know whoever's making that call for you, how many calls they made, how many people got the message, and how many people they actually physically talked to. Great question.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so all right. So let's go over like a FSBO script just real quick. So a FSBO script when you call them FSBOs, and again, assuming it's okay with your compliance that you're calling FSBOs, I'll let you do your homework on that. And it's your real simple script that we got from Robbie. It's, hi, I saw you have a home for sale, and I have a couple questions. Please call me at 555-1212. Right? If live, so that's the script that you hit the voicemail that you would upload into Phone Burner. If live, you just say, hey, tell me about your house. That sounds great. I'd like to come. I'd like to see it. When can I come by? Don't try to sell on the phone, by the way. Never, ever, ever try to sell by the phone. The only thing your phone is for is to set appointments. Right? Set appointments to go look at their house. Don't try to list it over the phone. Set an appointment to come by and see it. I know that this is simple stuff, and I get that, but I just want to I can't overemphasize that. Right? I can't overemphasize that. So, all right. So let's talk about how it works here.
Hey, get this, Carl. Steven Stewart says, I used this system before in doing cold calls. We were dialing about 100 numbers an hour.
Oh, it's massive. And we're going to go into that. It's massive numbers that you can do with this thing. So again, how it works is you choose all the contacts that you uploaded in the system. You can do as many as you want. You can have it so it calls people from a certain area code or a certain zip code. It'll let you do that. And once you start your auto dial session, it's just a simple. You just pick up your phone, dial into Phone Burner, and click a button, and you're ready to start calling your contacts at a rate of about 1 per minute. About 1 per minute. So in other words, you can run through about 60 people in an hour. Or keep in mind, most of the time by far you're hitting voicemail, and on the live ones, again, this is short, little, quick 2 to 3 minute phone calls. That's the key to this thing. Now, and somebody asked this question, when my contact answers, will there be a pause before they hear you speak? No, there's no pause. This is not one of those antiquated auto dialers where it's calling 5 people and whoever answers first, it leads to them. It's only calling 1 per time. And as far as what you need to use this system, and there's other systems, so we're not, we don't care which system you use. Phone Burner just happens to be the one that we use, and we have no interest We don't own it. I don't even know the owners. We have no affiliate link or anything like that. So you just need a regular computer, and it's PC or Mac, an internet connection. Of course, it costs, and we're going to go over the cost over here in a minute, but it's dirt cheap for billing. And then a regular, and then a phone, whether it's a cell phone or a landline or even voice over internet. There's no long distance charges other than, dialing into phone burner. You can use phone burner anywhere. Here's another cool thing. Get this. So phone burner also sends emails. I'm going to give you an example here in a second. So once you leave a message with them, you push a button, and it sends them an automated email only to the people that got the voicemail, or also to the people that answered live. You just click it which one you want it to do, and it'll send an email. I'm going to show you an example here in a second. And the email can be totally customizable. Totally customizable. So here's a script that I use on mine. So in other words, I've left a voicemail using phone burner, and then it automatically emails out to them when I click say yes, send the email. In the subject line, just left you a message, email body, just a quick heads up. I just called and hit your voicemail, so I left you a message. I'll talk to you when you call back. Talk soon, Carl. That's it. You can send that email fits any message that you left to them. Like it's totally open. And when they get this email and they get that voicemail in your voice, they're totally going to think that you called them. I'm telling you, because you did call them. You did call them. And Scotty, you're right. The numbers here, using phone burner, you can average about 1 minute per person in your database. So get this, guys. A 300-person database is what we find is typical. A 300-person database would be 300 minutes, or about 5 hours. So in 5 hours, you can do what most people haven't done in 5 years, which is call your entire database and get more deals. This is low-hanging fruit. I personally have never had anybody. Scotty and I do some private, one-on-one coaching to a group of people. There's no openings available for it, but we do a small private coaching. We have never once with our private clients, never once had somebody use this, call their database, and not report back that same day they got a deal. Hasn't happened one time. No. Not once. No. Not once.
No.
Ever. Works every single time. So imagine, think of this, guys. I really need to think about this. Imagine what your business would look like if you made an additional 300 calls a month, and it took a total of about 5 hours, or about 1 hour and 15 minutes a week. 1 hour and 15 minutes a week, you're calling an additional 300 people that need real estate help. Well, what would your business look like if you did that? You called 300 FSBOs, 300 expired listings, 300 people in your database.
Great question here coming in from Dave. So Dave says, Carl, can you set different messages for different parts of your database? And that's absolutely yes. Here's the cool part. Here's the crazy cool part about that. Okay, so you got a VA, right? Call in past database, different message. You got a VA call in FSBOs, different message. You got a VA call in expired listings, different message. You got a VA call in, say you use Boomtown or Tiger Leads or Truly or whatever, all those leads, different message. All she does is pick the message, start dialing. Click the button, start dialing. It's that easy. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So so on this system, the cost of it, and again, Scotty and I have no ownership into it, nor do we know the owners. The 7.5-hour package, which is a lot of phone numbers. I'm going to say by far, by far, that's going to work for most people, is $67.50 a month. And you can purchase extra hours, but I'm going to tell you, for most people, that'll work. I'll be honest with you, Scotty, I can't remember if I've got the 67 package or the 149 package. We have an enormous database, and I'm not sure which we have. But
it's 450 minutes, the same as 7.5 hours, I would assume.
Yeah.
Divided by, okay.
Yeah. So
yep, it sure is. Yep. Okay.
It's that's going to handle for most people. And it also has automated rollover of minutes. That's also that's included too. And there's no contract. You can start it and stop it. Like if you're calling your database 3 times a year, you can start it, call your database, once in the spring, cancel it, start it again in the summer, call your database, cancel again, start it on. But I'm going to tell you, don't just use it for calling your database. Use it for the expireds. Use it for the FISBOs. And like whatever you're in your compliance, whatever you're allowed to do, I would hammer this thing like white on rice, because we know this is where the money is. This is where the phone calls is where the money is. And by only having to actually leave the message once, when you're making the phone calls, I'm telling you, you have more energy when you're making your calls. You know, you're not getting wore out by voicemails, and you're having to listen to their voicemail before you leave a voicemail, and some of those voicemails are, you know, a minute apiece, and all that wasted time. This will be laser beam focused time for you. So
hey, couple questions real quick. You know, Dan asked a good question, but so he says what if they pick up after the voicemail starts? Will it be the same as if you don't get to the phone and the voicemail starts? It just sounds like you're leaving the voicemail. So I don't know how many times that's happened. I mean, it's happened a couple times, but if I pick up, it just never seems to work on the phone. You know, the voicemail is supposed to stop, but I don't know about you, but it just seems to never do. And then you hang up and then you call back or whatever. But I mean, so you get 1 out of 1,000 that it happens to. Oh well, you know. I mean, that's the thing is that you're calling your database.
And another thing to keep in mind, Scotty, is on today's voicemail systems, almost nobody's got, quote, an answering machine. You know, pretty much, I probably close to 100%, voicemail is all, you know, on your cell phone or digital from Verizon or whoever you have your phone service with. Almost nobody has, you know, I haven't seen an answering machine in years. And I'm not saying that they don't exist, but it's just almost non-existence. That's just a non-issue. So how you sign up for this, and again, there's multiple services. This just happens to be the one that we use. It's phoneburner.com, and Paul and Karen called them up, and if you put freedom in, we told them we was going to be doing a call today, and if you put the word freedom in it, you actually get a discount off of that $67. Frankly, I don't remember what the discount was, and there doesn't even need to be a discount. I'm telling you, this is a killer service, and again,
big money. Yeah.
You know, Scotty and I don't own the company, and hell, I wish I did. But,
what yet? We don't own it yet.
This is just a great company, so I highly recommend it. So
James brings up a good question. You know, James says, you know, putting the people into the database seems to be the hard part. Here's the cool part about that, James. If he's talking about FISBOs and expireds and stuff like that. Somebody else, I mean, I don't know about you, but copy paste. I mean, put them into an Excel spreadsheet, something that a college student, high school student, probably a middle school school student could do for you at a very, very cheap rate, $5 an hour. I mean, that's something that somebody else could be doing. And then when they're ready, export, import into PhoneBurner would be a 2-second process, and you're off and dialing. So that's where an assistant comes in. Learn to delegate the stuff that's really, you know, that's not making you any money and stuff like that. That'd be a great part-time job for somebody to do for you.
Yeah. John Heffmeister is asking a great question. John, thanks for being here, brother. Who do we use for VA company? And Scotty, you've got a class on that you did on how we hire our VAs, which we use a service in the Philippines. You did a class on that. Is that correct?
I don't think that I've done the. You know what? If we did, it was a couple years ago. We've been doing this for 2 years now, so it was a long time ago. But yes, I do have a class on that. Yes.
Okay. So the service we use is called onlinejobs.ph. Onlinejobs.ph. So it's not .com, it's .ph. Onlinejobs.ph, and it's not really a company. It's just this website where VAs in the Philippines are at, and we'll have to do a whole. We'll do a refresher.
We do that class, yeah,
so
for sure.
That's a great class where we get, you know, they speak very good English. Because English is the language they do in the school systems there. So if they go to high school or elementary school, English is the language, and so we've used that.
Here's a great question.
Okay.
James is asking, how are the minutes calculated? I think it's just is a message. Yeah, because I think they count the message. So if they're leaving a message, that counts out as a minute. If you actually connect with them, I don't think that counts as a minute. Is that correct? If you're having a normal phone call conversation, I don't think that counts, does it?
Correct. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't even know.
Doesn't matter.
So much money. I make so much. I mean, this is like, guys. I'm telling you, this is like you're dipping into the well and pulling up gold dust.
Right.
And well, how much does the bucket cost? It's it's irrelevant. I mean, the amount of money that you'll make on this thing is just killer. I'm almost positive we've got the 7.5-hour one, and that works for our database. That you know, we got a large database, so I'm almost positive.
I got rollover, and the cool part is it's rollover minutes. So if you don't use your minutes, it rolls over and adds to what the next month. So you get 450, use 450 rolls into the next month.
Yeah.
So,
all right, cool. Anything else?
I think, oh man,
I got how many messages can you set?
What if you give back the line?
I think it's unlimited messages. So
yeah, Lisa is like, what if unlimited messages? Yeah. So what if you get back-to-back people? Congratulations, you're talking to a live person, right? I mean, that's the best part. Use the script. Use the script on a live call, or whoever is making that call to make a live call. That's it. Yep.
Yeah. And
oh, I know. Let me really quick for everybody joining us for the first time. I'm gonna take the screen from you real quick, Carl.
Okay.
Oops. /groups/agent mastermind. We are we have a private group on Facebook just for you guys to ask questions. If for some reason we didn't get to your question, please go to the group and sign. Just ask to join the group, and we will for sure give that to you. So here's it. It's facebook.com/groups/agent mastermind. Facebook.com/groups. There's we're approaching 2,800 people on there. Amazing questions. You get to collaborate and interact with colleagues across the U.S., agents all over the place. It's just a great learning experience. So if you have a question, ask it there. There's always somebody monitoring that. There's always agents and I really appreciate everybody collaborating there and sharing their opinion. There's no right or wrong answers, just how we all do it a little bit differently. So hang out with us there, and we'll make sure and get you into there as well.
Is there like 2,500? I mean, there's thousands of.
There's 27. Yeah, there's 27, almost 2,800 people in there. Yeah, we add about 100 a week to the group, so we're growing. We'll be at 3,000 very soon. So.
And guys, I'm telling you, you want to tag into this stuff before your competition does.
Absolutely.
You're going to want to do that.
Absolutely.
So to get a copy of my PowerPoint and the scripts and recording of this call, all you got to do is contact the loan professional that sent you here, and they provide that to you at no cost. So they got a copy of the PowerPoint, they got a copy of the script, and they got a copy of some of the past classes that we did, and also the invitation to make sure that you get invited to the next class, which we'll definitely put how to hire the VAs and what kind of activity do you have them do. We'll have them. We'll have a class on that here in the next upcoming weeks. We'll make sure to get that on there. But contact the loan professional, because I'm telling you, these are the kind of loan professionals you want to be hanging out with, because they're the ones that step out of the box and don't just sit and knock on your door and say, give me a loan, give me a loan, give me a loan. These are the people that help you build your business, and these are the kind of people you want to hang out with. So so kudos for having an LO on your side that's looking after you. So that's
all right, everybody. Carl, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you, man. Look forward to seeing you next week at our event down in Florida.
Yep, I'm looking forward to that too, my friend. So thanks for having me, Scotty. It's a pleasure to be a part of this awesome group that you've created.
Absolutely, brother. Okay. Hey, man. Hey, thanks, everybody, for joining us for the Agent Mastermind First Class 2014. Looking forward to seeing you guys right here next week at Agent Mastermind Class 2 of 2014. Take care, everybody. Be safe, and we'll see you on the web. Bye-bye.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.